Meritto is the operating system for student recruitment and enrollments worldwide. Trusted by over 1,000 plus education organizations, from edtech companies to higher education organizations, Meritto streamlines processes for sales, marketing, admission, finance, and operations team. Meritto empowers 1 billion student engagements annually, processing 100 million inquiries and managing 5 million applications on average. And for those of you who are onto their first Illuminate by Meritto webinar, it is a series of live webinars where we bring you the latest insights, best practices, and technology on everything about student recruitment and enrollment. We host expert speakers from Meritto alongside experts, thought leaders, and decision makers from the world of education, offering unparalleled insights for the education industry. And today we have Ms. Abhilasha Singh. Abhilasha Singh is a distinguished professor of human resources and organizational behavior, renowned for her commitment to academic excellence and student success. With a robust leadership background, she has served as the Vice President of Academic Affairs and Provost at American University in the Emirates, Dubai. A certified reviewer of the UAE's Commission for Academic Accreditation, she ensures educational quality and compliance. Her accolades include the Hind Ratan Award 2024 and the Most Influential Women Award by Filmfare Middle East 2023. Holding a PhD in applied psychology from Banaras Hindu University, she has published extensively and is actively engaged in research. Additionally, she serves as a senior editor for a leading Q1 Scopus indexed journal and is an executive board member of the International Higher Education Teaching and Learning Association. We welcome you, Ms. Abhilasha.
Thank you.
I'm sure Ms. Abhilasha has lots to share with us about American University in the Emirates and herself. But before that, let me give our audiences a brief introduction. The American University in the Emirates, located in Dubai, is a distinguished institution dedicated to providing high-quality education that prepares students for success in dynamic global environment. Established in 2006, AUE offers diverse range of undergraduate and graduate programs across various disciplines, including business, engineering, media, law, and arts. The university is committed to fostering academic excellence and innovative learning, supported by a faculty of experienced professionals and scholars. With a focus on student-centered education, AUE emphasizes critical thinking, creativity, and practical skills, ensuring that graduates are well equipped to meet the challenges of modern workforce. The university's vibrant campus promotes cultural diversity and collaboration, making it a hub for academic and professional growth in the region. And we also have with us MS Srinivasan, who is the Senior Customer Success Manager at Meritto and solves for our customer in Dubai. He has an experience of working with 1,000 plus education organizations across the globe and is dedicated to building strategic partnerships and driving maximum ROI for our customers through cross-functional collaborations. And he has done pretty well by equipping educational organizations to fuel their enrollment growths with Meritto's purpose-built solutions. Hi, Srinivasan.
Hey, hi. Thank you so much. Hello, all.
So, Srinivasan, I understand you're originally from India, but you have been working in Dubai for long. So, with rich cultural festivities in both UAE and India, do you have a favorite celebration or festival that you always look forward to each year?
Yeah. So, more than festival, I would say holidays, right? So, while sitting in Dubai, if it's Eid, then the mindset of going back to the hometown comes into picture. So that's going to be there with every expat over here. So yeah, if you ask me celebration, yes, it would be Eid here, and if it's in India, it's going to be Diwali. Yeah. Thanks for asking that.
I'm sure many of the people from our audiences would be resonating with you right now.
Yeah.
So before we dive into the specifics, Ms. Abhilasha, let's start on a lighter note. We know that AUE is a significant player in the UAE's education landscape, but I'm sure there are some fun or unique aspects that many people might not be aware of. So could you share something interesting about AUE that stands out?
Thanks a lot, and let me first thank Meritto and especially you, Tanya, for providing us with such a wonderful platform where we can share our expertise, our experience, and share some of the best practices and practically learn from each other. not in a very formal way, but in an informal way. It's a true platform for learning. So thank you very much for giving me this wonderful opportunity.
Pleasure is ours, ma'am.
See, when we talk, you have given a wonderful brief about AUE. So this is true that, we started our journey in 2006 and we embraced a truly global perspective, I should say. So it's a global as well as local. So, but our focus has been always, on inclusive quality education. So some of the facts probably which people might not be aware, we are known for diversity. So we have more than 30 nationalities represented on campus. So it's like a melting pot of cultures. We have rich exchanges of ideas, diverse group of faculty, staff, and students, and this such kind of diversity, it reflects in our achievement. So we are, for example, not only we got 4 stars from QS, but also when it comes to the QS Arab ranking, we hold the #1 spot for international faculty and international students. So that shows our commitment. Our commitment to create a very inclusive, welcoming environment for both students and faculty. So some of the fun aspects, which is so important for students especially, is like we celebrate Global Day. Now, Global Day, imagine with 30 different nationality, more than 30 sometimes. It's like the multicultural community. They celebrate their unique traditions. We have Bhangra as well, the dances, the Indian typical dance. We have Pakistan camps. We have different, camps which is represented by different nationality. So it's a fun festival. It's a music, dance, and food. But the aim is completely different. The aim is to make the student more tolerant towards each other. Because such kind of events inculcates the cross-cultural sensitivity. You will be surprised that aligned with the Ministry of Tolerance and Ministry of Happiness in UAE, we teach a course in tolerance, we teach a course in happiness. So we host a lot of innovative activities. You'll be surprised that it can be very serious, like Student Research Day, or it can be an activity full of fun, like car shows. And we have almost around 50% Emirati population, and they have vintage cars to show. So it's amazing. We organized a fashion show underwater at Atlantis. So this showcases students' creativity and the kind of flair for extraordinary. So students are, they are champions. We are champions in university level soccer, football for the last, I think, 7 or 8 years now. Swimming relay races, and we are in Guinness Book because we have a group of students. I mean, there are 4 brothers, and they participated in swimming relay race, and they won the first prize. So there are a lot of things to share. We have students who are now UAE ambassadors to another country. They are CIOs, they are CTOs. So our role is preparing students for impactful careers. So, I forgot to mention that we have 22 programs, and these programs are housed into 7 colleges, 12 undergraduate and 10 graduate. But these programs are so unique, you will not find in the region, like Masters in Diplomacy, Masters in Security and Strategic Studies. It's nowhere in the region. So it's not only the traditional program, but some of the program like Masters in Knowledge Management is a very unique program. So these are some of the reasons that, apart from the accreditation, as you mentioned, like we continue to stand out as a leading institution in the UAE's educational landscape. We say we don't compete, we lead, others follow.
Right. That's very fascinating. And, I feel like I want to be a part of AUE sometime in the near future.
Certainly, most welcome.
So now shifting gears a little, you've worn multiple hats at AUE, from being the Vice President of Academic Affairs to your current role as a professor. So I'm curious, how does a typical day look for you in such a dynamic environment?
I was thinking that you might ask this question, and the question itself was very fascinating because sometimes you just reflect back. So as provost and as vice president for academic affairs for the past 8 years in a row, and before that I was also general secretary of the board, kind of liaison between the board and the president, quality assurance director, IE director, we say institutional effectiveness and international office. So last 12 years purely in administration. I should say 16 years in UAE, because before that also I was in administration. But last 8 years as vice president for academic affairs and as provost, my day was a carefully balanced mix of strategic leadership and academic administration. So while my primary focus, I should say, was always on overseeing quality assurance, accreditation process, because institutionally we are accredited by SAC-COC, which is one of the leading accreditation, and only 3 institutions in UAE are accredited by SAC-COC. And we know that there are around 75, 76 institutions in the UAE which comes under the Commission for Academic Accreditation under Ministry of Education. So there are only 3 institutions which are accredited by SAC-COC, and we also have like ABIT for our computer science, and then ACSB for our College of Business Administration. So ACSB, just to give you an example, it's like only top 6% of the business schools in the world, they are ACSB accredited. So overseeing the entire accreditation process, ensuring the adherence to the compliance standards, tracking the completion of the annual operational goals, which are important. I always remain deeply connected. I do this thing, but I'm connected with my teaching and research and community engagement. So my mornings were always like busy with meetings, meetings with my team, leadership meeting, where you will start discussing some ongoing projects, some of the challenges, most of the time challenges, or what's not going well. So you discuss a lot about that. What are the reasons behind that? And then sometimes detailed reviews of academic policies, some of the new strategic initiatives. So throughout the day, I engaged in analyzing the regular reports to identify some of the areas which require continuous improvement, because we need to ensure, and as vice president for academic affairs, it was one of the most critical role to ensure that we are closing the quality loop effectively for all the programs, for all the colleges. But the good part is that despite the administrative demands of my role, I made a priority to stay involved in the classroom and in research, because that was the only way through which I can get first-hand information. So I always kept my academic passion, I should say, alive, so that I remained in tune with the needs of both faculty and students, So now as a professor, it's a full-time focus has shifted towards mentoring students, advising students, preparing my lectures. By the way, I recently started, it was 1st of August. So I still probably, maybe in the next session, I can share more my experience as a full-time professor. But currently it is, yes, student advising is going on. I'm preparing my lectures, and research is my passion. So I always work on community engagement and advancing research. The good part is that whatever I have learned, the competencies, the skills and insights gained from my time as the Vice President for Academic Affairs, it continued to inform my approach to teaching, ensuring that I can contribute to the AUE's mission, both as administrator and from the academic perspective. So this is how I'm managing at this point of time.
Thank you for sharing that insight into your daily life, ma'am. That sounds challenging, but at the same time, it's very rewarding also. So moving on to the broader picture, and speaking of dynamic environments, the UAE has seen significant changes in higher education over the past decades. So for our audience, especially those tuning in from outside the UAE, could you provide some insights on how the landscape has evolved?
Oh, tremendously. I have noted in the past 16 years, 17 years in the UAE, that the higher education landscape, has undergone significant transformation over the past decade. It's not only simply like merging of the ministry, but now, it's completely different. It's driven by a very strong commitment to quality, innovation, and alignment with the national goals. So, I mean, I remember in one of his address, Sheikh Mohammed, the ruler of Dubai, the vice president. So he said very clearly that UAE has to be number one, Dubai has to be number one. So a lot of focus was on being number one, number one. So, I can see that one of the key shifts which I'm noticing is a focus on internationalization, more international collaboration, a focus on outcome-based education to ensure that graduates not only acquire knowledge, but also develop the competencies needed for the workforce. And we are noticing that how quickly it is changing. So, as the higher education institution, we had, when COP28 was here, UAE hosted COP28, it was immediately like, we need to integrate sustainability in the curriculum. Now we are working on integrating artificial intelligence in our curriculum. So there has been a lot of changes. I mean, the approach which they have taken is closely aligned with 2030 vision of UAE and also the centennial vision, which is 2070, and it prioritizes building a knowledge-based economy. That is one of the pillars. And preparing the citizens, preparing the students for the challenges and opportunities of the future. So if we align with the vision, the centennial vision, the Ministry of Education has implemented rigorous standards. And being a certified CA reviewer, I have noted that the new standards came up, and the standards are so rigorous, it has led to closure of many institutions. I'm sure you have noted in the news, many of the institutions, if they fail to adhere to the quality benchmarks, they are closed here. So this shows this, the UAE's commitment to maintaining high education standards and ensuring that not only institutions, providing top tier education remain operational, but also a lot of emphasis on skill-based education, on employability. It has intensified, we are redesigning our curricula. I'll give you one example that just to ensure that we are meeting the demands of the modern job market, we integrated a 6 hours approach. And the 6 hours approach is that in all our 400 level courses, 300 onwards, 300, 400, and then 500, 600 level courses, we are inviting industry professionals to come and deliver a 6 hours workshop for students. So students will not graduate unless they complete this workshop. And then there are assessments based on that. And then recently, it was in the news, I'm sure people who have joined, if they are familiar about what is happening in the UAE higher education, you might have noticed that UAE came up with, the Ministry of Education came up with classification framework. So it's a UAE classification framework, which they have announced which institutions are in which category, what they are doing. So they have already announced the research-based institutions. If you're offering undergraduate and graduate programs, you are considered as a research-based institutions and where you are. So there are various pillars. This has further refined the higher education landscape. So it's a clear structure now, which aligns educational program with the needs of the economy and society. So this classification framework, which has come up, it has basically made the institutions very competitive, and it ensures that institutions not only meet the international standards, but also contribute to the UAE's long-term strategic goals. So the vision of the rulers are that the leader of this nation are that the higher education institutions should work very closely so that it is more innovative in nature. And the higher education is quality driven in the region. So there's a lot of focus, and the transformation is, going on. I hope I answered that question about the landscape, higher education
Very
landscape.
beautiful, ma'am. That's a great overview of how things have changed. And speaking of evolution, Srinivasan, you've witnessed the growth of educational organizations in the UAE. So, how do you perceive the current higher education landscape in this region? Like, what key factors are driving changes? Basically, what one thing that always amazes you about the universities in these regions compared to India?
Yeah, thanks. Uh, so Tanya, the thing is, I'll just give you a snippet here on taking up this role as account manager MEA Middle East Africa. So when I came down here, one thing that astonished me is, right, after visiting AUE and after visiting many other universities, as ma'am rightly said, it's the diversity. It's unlike India. You'll see various students coming from different walks of life to the universities, right? Many Indians, many students from Africa, African region, rest of Middle East region. There will be a cluster of everyone, right? So when we dig down, like how this all happened, as ma'am rightly said, the leadership here, right? Dubai works on spoke and hub model, right? It's the focal point here. It's a commercial capital, and every decision making happens from here. The big companies are set up here, and every decision making happens from here, right? So when we drill down, even the young generation, people wants to start their career over here to be in that position, be in the decision making companies. So when the government understood this very early, and then the KHDA is the governing body of education here. The Knowledge and Human Development Authority is the one which it governs the educational institution over here. What they did was they developed clusters. When I say clusters, it's an area where the educational industry are put up, right? So there are 10 clusters here, and there are around 65 plus educational universities put up in these clusters. And in this 65, 33 are international universities, right? When I say international universities, they come from various jurisdictions like India, uh, say Australia, UK, right? Probably the BITS Pilani, Manipal are here from India, from UK, Roehampton universities, De Montfort are put up here. So the advantage here is when the universities are put up in the cluster, right? The area. So the advantage is they are eligible to function autonomously, right? So when I say autonomously, the degree that they provide is equivalent to the actual degree of the particular prestigious university. So that's one advantage. So the catch here is, as I said, Dubai is a 80% expat country. The people here have come for work and they are working as business professionals and they have their family set up here. And 15 years back, they used to send their kids back down to their hometown or to some other Western countries to pursue their higher education. But now, no. Why to send a ward to some other country when the same state of art architecture is here, right? So that's the catch, right? And yes, with pride, I could say we are also working with around 8 to 9 universities under this cluster right now.
It's interesting to hear that comparison, Srinivasan. Now, circling back to AUE and speaking of what makes AUE unique, Ms. Abhilasha, the concept of being student-first education organization is central to AUE's identity. So could you elaborate on what this philosophy means for AUE and how it's woven into the institution's core values?
Thank you, Tanya, for that question. Uh, you know, uh, I would just like to add to what Srini just mentioned that, we bringing universities in the cluster. So he's referring to the free zone, which is there. And there are more than 25 universities here where we are located. So it is Dubai International Academic City, and there are 25 institutions here. If we are not going to be student first, probably it becomes very challenging because the same pie and everyone wants to have a bigger piece, and we have to maintain the quality at the same time, educational quality. So at AUE especially, we are popularly known as AUE. We are American University in the Emirates. We are accredited by American accreditation, the topmost accreditation body, and we are popularly known as AUE. So for us, being student first educational organization means that every decision and initiative is designed with the student's best interest at heart. So this is a philosophy, and such philosophy is actually deeply embedded in our core values. So students are at the center of all academic and administrative process. I mean, I will just to give you a couple of examples, like our students, once they graduate, and before graduation, they go for internship, and many times we ask them to do their internship here as well. So, and if we know that, yes, they are excellent, they have learned, because we want to test ourselves as well. Are the students achieving those graduate attributes which we want from them or not? So it's just to get a, first-hand feedback from them. So there are various ways to do that. One of the ways is we achieve this through our comprehensive advising portal. So students can easily connect with their faculty advisor, right? They receive very personalized guidance on academic and career-related matters. And of course, Meritto also helps in this regard, so it's excellent platform as well. We have a success center. And this success center is where senior students are there. They provide mentorship and support to the freshmen. So we have a counseling center. We have a success center. And especially the success center and the counseling center, it helps the students to navigate the transition to university life, so that it fosters, a kind of sense of community, so that they are having this sense of community and belonging to this institution. So for our working students also, we offer a very flexible schedule that accommodates their professional commitments, that allows them to balance work and studies effectively. So, I mean, you will be surprised that AUE operates from 9 to 9, 7 days a week. So which means that we start at 9, we close at 9. So as Vice President for academic affairs, it was so challenging because I need to sometime come in the morning, but I need to stay back to see what is happening and for my evening classes. And then we also offer weekend classes. So the student first approach in UAE is not just a slogan, it's a fundamental aspect of how we operate. So we prioritize the needs and the success of our students. We ensure they are well prepared, so that they can thrive both, academically and in their future careers. So that's why, we always say that we offer a very supportive and empowering educational environment. We have open door policy. We never lock our offices. We have though we have office hours, but this is a kind of culture also here that the students, they want to see that the faculty members are very approachable. And in all of our orientation program, we ask the faculty members to, to imbibe those values, that just be available for your students.
That's truly inspiring, ma'am. So, Srinivasan, what are your thoughts on this student-first approach? Like, does adopting this approach impact the enrollment journey for higher education organizations?
Yeah, sure. So, with my experience, like when you say student-first approach, I could resonate, and it is more synonymous with digital-first approach, right? So, so the universities, the prominent universities will have the digital technology or the cutting edge tools hands-on, or they will apply all the digital tools in order to have the clutch of the student's pulse, right? To brief it up, right? The first point is strategic framework. When I say strategic framework within the university, right, there would be multiple departments, right? So let's go some years back, say 10 years back. So admission department functions on silo, and marketing department of the universities functions silo. They do the marketing activities, they get the students in, and they route it to admission department, and the information gets passed. And then the fee collection department takes care of the fee, and then the ERP or the URP, the University Resource Planning Department, takes care of all the data, and then they pass it to the academics department. So all these things were happening on silos, and the information were getting passed, the interchanging on an enormous manner. But then over the course of time, as technology boomed, all these silos, came into one funnel. So now, when you look back, it's just three things. So let's take AUE. So it's the CRM first, right? And then the LMS, and then the ERP. So let me throw more light on it. So when the student registers, the CRM takes care of it. So when I say CRM takes care of it, from the inquiry till the enrollment, CRM will take care of everything. And post that, this data will be passed to LMS and the ERP. The LMS takes care of the academic part, and the ERP takes care of the rest, right? The attendance, hostel, etc. No, for the student, it's just AUE, right? But at the back end, all these things are very tightly coupled, and the information is being passed on a seamless manner, and it's transparent as well. There is no hassle of, going to and fro manually, right? So now, this is called the framework. The framework should be very tight in order for the process to get streamlined, right? And number three is the communication, right? The communication should be very relevant nowadays, as ma'am rightly said, right? The accreditations, right, and the QS ratings, these all play a very major role. And now, when a student is taking a decision, all these things come into picture. When we joined our universities or college, our parents just thought about the career opportunities after graduating from this college. But now, everyone are dwelling into the faculties who are teaching, the designations, the QS ratings, accreditation, everything comes into play. And this needs to be, communicated in a structured manner to the students, in advance for him to take a call, right? So not only with respect to joining, with respect to recruitment, with respect to, when he's studying or when he's coming out, all the communications needs to be very relevant. And for that, again, digital tools come into picture, right? Hope I have answered it.
That's a great perspective, Srinivasan. So continuing on this theme, Ms. Abhilasha, can you walk us through the journey of how AUE transitioned to a student-centric approach? By this, I mean, what were some of the initial challenges, and by the time, how were they overcome?
Thank you for that question. Srini has just mentioned about, digital approach. And one of the things which I would like to add to what he said is that students are also very well informed these days. They have multiple challenges. And I'll give you a couple of examples that in the past, for the student enrollment, we used to participate in GTEx. We used to participate in exhibition like Naja. Nowadays, we noted that, if you communicate in the right way through Instagram, for example, you get good results. So, these are the tools. So when we started thinking about the transitioning, to becoming more student-centric, I should say that it was probably in the philosophy from the beginning, but then during COVID, we were left with no other option but to have a clear, well-structured system to address the needs of the student. So so COVID basically triggered the changes, the transformation, which would have been otherwise, done long back. But it triggered the transformation in the higher education. It was so much required. Students were not able to come to the campus. Some of the students were not having books. We delivered books to their house. We delivered computers and laptops to their house. So, I mean, it was in the philosophy. Our logo is nothing is impossible is the pathway to success. Because when we started, actually, there was a huge drop in the student enrollment, and we were left with only in 2006, only 60 students. Majority of the students, we lost them because of the English language proficiency score, which is a mandatory score. And so it was in the philosophy from the beginning to offer courses, flexible schedule should be there. We should offer courses in the weekend. But yes, after COVID, or during the COVID, the entire process was more and more student-centric. It was, I should say, it was a deliberate process. Integrating Meritto is a deliberate process. It's not like, it just happened. It's a deliberate process. So the challenge was, shifting the mindset from the traditional teaching methods to a more holistic, student-focused strategy. Because when we talk about student-centric, we need to deliver the courses. That's why when I started, I said, we are basically known for inclusive quality education. So inclusivity was very important, right? So the mindset, was one of the challenge. And this required extensive faculty training. This required revamping the curricula event. We revamped the curricula. I mean, so we offer a couple of courses, which is like Arabic for non-Arabic speakers, Now this course is for everyone who doesn't speak Arabic or their first language is not Arabic. We offer courses like Islamic culture. Now these are mandatory courses, or now we call it Emirati studies. So these are the courses which is mandatory, general education courses. Now imagine offering this course in a class of, let's say, 60 students, where you noted that all are from, majority, there are probably 50, 20 different nationality. So offering it in a very different way. So you need to sometimes think about it. You need to revamp your courses. You need to revamp the curricula. We cannot go into a very detailed, rather we need to give them a general, a macro overview, and then when they progress, then we go for a micro view of those courses. So I just feel like, addressing those challenges required faculty training. We offered a lot of faculty development programs, especially related to how to offer a very student-centric, keeping students in the heart of your academic operation. Right? So this was one. We revamped the curricula. We created a kind of feedback mechanism, which was very important. And having a WhatsApp business group was one of them, where Meritto also helped us. So ensuring that the student feedback is there, student voices are heard. So that was very important because, just to give you another example, that we have a student council, and the student council is elected by students. The president of the council, he serves as one of the members in the leading council of the institution, which is University Council. The vice president of the council was a member of the academic council, which I used to lead for, head this council for the last 8 years. So we need to make sure, that students are the part of the governing body. We need to make sure that their voices are heard. So that's important. And over time, these efforts have paid off. We can see the student engagement has increased. The satisfaction rates are higher. The academic outcomes have improved. So we also noted that the academic outcomes, because every year, beginning of the academic year, we decide on the threshold. What will be the outcome of the students this year? 75% of the students are going to achieve 75% of the student learning outcomes or not, So we decide on the threshold based on the trend analysis, the data, and we noted that, satisfaction rate with advising has increased. Advising was a process which was very difficult for us. We use digital tools for advising. We have a very effective advising portal where students can, continuously chat with the faculty advisors. And we noted that, yes, becoming a student-centric, your efforts which you are putting towards it, it really, really pays off later.
It's great to hear about these strategies, ma'am. And we can clearly see overcoming these challenges definitely paved the way for some very impactful initiatives for AUE. So thank you for that, ma'am. We know that technology undoubtedly plays a crucial role in modern education. So Srinivasan, from your perspective, how do leveraging cutting-edge technologies influence enrollment strategies in universities? Like what marketing activities or trends are that these institutions in the UAE use to attract, engage, and enroll students that promote critical thinking among students?
Sure. So let me give an example or some instances so that we can well relate for the larger audiences, right? With respect to larger audiences. So thing is, here, unlike in India, here in UAE, many universities have this concept of open day. Open day is nothing but, every university will set up fix a particular day, and they'll call up all the students just to inquire and them enroll themselves, clear their doubts, and etc. Now this happens on every fortnightly basis, right? So now what happens is, when this open day is decided, first a communication would be triggered for the audience, for the target students. Say day one, a communication is triggered, and this communication is a kind of drip marketing. So what happens is, a mail and a WhatsApp would be triggered to all the students. If the student is interested, right? If he wants to come to the open day, he replies to the WhatsApp message, and or he opens or clicks the email button. Right now, this response is captured by the system. So whomever responds to this communication, on the very next day, they'll get a detailed email and WhatsApp on, this is going to be your, counselor who's going to help you out on the process. And this is the day when everything would be shared. And on the other side, one who did not respond, or one who did not respond to the mail or WhatsApp, the reminders would go for every 2-3 days. Now, this goes on. And on the D day, before the D day, the one who responded positively, right, they will get a reminder. Oh, sorry, in between, the students who have responded, right, the counselors will start chatting with the students on the via chat bot, or the two-way communication, right? And when I say two-way communication, it goes from the official, certified number. It's not the counselors or the callers, but a personal number. It's the official university number. Now then comes the D day, and student comes, whomever who's interested comes to the open day, right? And then they sit with the counselors, they understand about the university, all the informations are shared, everything goes fine. And then the students who have registered and have come down to the campus are sent a WhatsApp message saying that they are eligible for the early bird admissions, right? So this, here gamification comes in. So they are sent with all these discount coupons, and saying that this is valid for a day, and since you have come down here, you have 20% discount, and you can take this forward. So the one who's really wanted to will, they will enroll themselves. And then one who wants time, for those guys, again a message would go, since you have attended open day, we acknowledge that, and still you have the discount valid, this is your discount coupon, you can enroll yourself on within 48 hours. So we are giving a time frame. So by this particular methodology, I have covered almost all the cutting edge technologies, starting from WhatsApp business, right, drip marketing campaigns, the two-way communication, live chat, and then finally the gamification, discount coupons, right? So everything comes into picture. So these things are relevant now. These things are required now for efficient and timely conversions, right? Hope I had answered your question. Yeah.
Very well. Those insights were very valuable. So, Mr. Vilasha, coming back to you, no doubt on how crucial role technology plays, like Srinivasan just quoted about all these technologies. But behind every successful student first approach, there's a lot of work happening on the faculty side as well. So, how does AUE ensures that its educators are well prepared to support and promote the culture?
Okay, thanks for that question, because I completely agree that faculty members are the key drivers, of AUE's student first culture. They play a crucial role, whether it is shaping the learning experience of students or advising them properly, registering them properly. But yes, faculty members are the key drivers of any institution, I should say, not only AUE. So what we do, we recognize this, and we place a very strong emphasis on the continuous professional development, because we want to equip our educators with the skills and the knowledge they need to support this approach effectively. So we offer them comprehensive training program, the programs which are focused in curriculum design, in pedagogy. Currently, we are as I'm talking to you and I'm in this session, there is a faculty development program going on related to, integrating artificial intelligence in the curriculum. So we ensure that faculty members are adept at creating and engaging and providing relevant, learning experience to the student body, which is basically tailored to address the diverse need of the student body. So that is, diversity is still at the core. So there are a number of areas where we offer faculty training. It includes the cutting edge technology as well. As I mentioned, AI, preparing a good course, how to advise, how to harness the potential of tools, the technology, the various tools which we are using so that we can enhance the learning outcome. So that is also very important. Last academic year, we offered a lot of faculty professional development program in sustainability because that was the focus, so that we can embed the sustainability principles in designing our curriculum so that we ensure that students are not only academically prepared, but they are also environmentally conscious, global citizens. And that is also a part of our mission of the institution. So there are a lot of initiatives which we take so that we can ensure that our faculty members are very well equipped, to deliver a very high quality, student-centric education, which aligns with our institution's mission, and of course, which also aligns with the evolving need of students and society.
Absolutely.
Does it answer your question?
Yes, ma'am, very well. Absolutely agreed with you. It's crucial for any institution. So, Srinivasan, as institutions are highly equipping their faculty with new technologies and all to, keep them updated and with the new skills, with the new technologies. So, what are your thoughts on the challenges and opportunities in adopting these new technologies, in streamlining the enrollments for UAE's higher education landscape? And how are these technologies being effectively managed by these institutions, and how can they effectively manage it in the near future?
Okay, so when we talk about challenges, let's put it this way, right? These are concerns, right? So not only with the with any software provider or service provider, there would be certain adaptability thing, right? So when we are used to one particular process flow, and when we are when something is getting changed, it takes time for adapting something, right? So it takes time to get accustomed to a particular service or software, right? So this is more like it's a customer centric approach only. So what we do is we provide brochures, product modules, so that the customer does not feel he should not feel isolated with the system. So like as ma'am rightly said, like it's like student centric, it's going to be customer centric for us, so that to get our customers accustomed to the platform. So this is one thing. Adaptability is number one, and number two is the migration. So say all these years they would have used one system, they would have data. Right now, the data needs to be migrated with full security to another system, right? So that needs to be taken care well, and both the stakeholders, that is the service providers like Meritto and the universities, should work hand in hand. The IT team of the university hand in hand on migration. And third concern that arises from the university or the client is on the data security. And that's a very legit concern, right, nowadays. And every service provider should have certain compliances, accomplished, right? So when this question comes, we proudly say that, yeah, Meritto is SOC 2 complied, which means it's a SOC 2 is a security compliances that every service provider should have accredited with, right? Which means we are following certain security methodologies with proper approvals, and there is no chance of data leakage or something, right? So these things, every service provider should follow all these protocols to have a tight coupled integration with the institute, so that things can be in a proper flow. When these things are set right, the service will run smoothly. There will be no challenges. These are the initial concerns that needs to be, very carefully dwelled into and should be tightly, acknowledged.
Those are very significant points, and I'm sure our audiences are already, taking the notes of it. So, on the subject of technology itself, Ms. Abhilasha, how are the advancements of platforms like Meritto being integrated into this curriculum at AUE, and what impact they've had on the student outcomes?
Mm-hmm. Sitanya, I will probably not be able to clearly state about the impact of Meritto because we integrated Meritto. So it is still too early to say that, right? We might probably, because the student outcome is completely different. But I should say that Meritto has enhanced probably our the enrollments, the total enrollments, because it's a very user-friendly kind of application which can be easily integrated. And Srini has mentioned rightly, that any institution in higher education, they are very much concerned about data privacy. So if you have such application, such tool which can be easily integrated, and you are certain about data privacy that it is not going to be breached, there is a trust factor. So at our university, the integration of tech advancement is basically the cornerstone of our educational strategy, I should say, because we need to ensure that both students and faculty, they have access to the best tools and resources. So that is, Meritto is helping us in the CRM, right? And then it is integrated to our state-of-art learning management system. We have such a wonderful learning management system that, and it was, I can say, central to our digital ecosystem strategy. So it is very good. It's not only user-friendly, but it is highly functional. It integrates all aspects of university operation. You talk about student portal, faculty portal, finance, quality assurance, and more, everything. And it is very effective and very comprehensive. It has been continuously recognized by the external reviewer team who come from different country, especially from US or from the region, from GCC country. And we are now we have started actually, so we have the copyright over it. So we start now, selling that LMS as well. It's a very well integrated learning management system, which is aligned with the standards of Commission for Academic Accreditation. So it helps us. So we focus heavily on maintaining and upgrading this system. We take the feedback from the faculty, from the students, so that, just to ensure that, we are meeting the evolving needs of the community as well, so that there is a very smooth and efficient educational experience for all the users. So such kind of robust tech foundation, it helps us to support innovative teaching, excellent learning practices, enhancing the learning outcomes, operational efficiency, because the system, the learning management system we have, it basically assess each learning outcome. So like each assessment which is given to the student, for example, every semester we are offering around 400, 500 courses, 500 sections. So in each section, the course which is offered, the assessments are integrated with the course learning outcomes. The course learning outcomes are integrated with the program learning outcomes. The program learning outcomes are integrated with the graduate attributes, and we assess them. So, it is possible only because of such tools we are having. So, I hope I answered your question.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. And it's impressive to see how, technology has been impacting throughout since so many years.
Certain. Yeah.
And moving on to another important aspect, as much as technology is, so beyond the classroom, AUE also emphasizes on professional development and lifelong learning. After all, lifelong learning is such a crucial aspect of personal and professional growth. So my question is to you, Srinivasan. In your view, what are the long-term benefits of preparing students for lifelong learnings for a successful future? And how does this impact their career prospects and personal development?
Okay. Okay, so if you ask me, it's a very generic question, right? Right. So with respect to student or with respect to, with respect to defining his personality, there are two, three things as per my, my view, right? So one is decision-making skill, right? This is very important. And with this age where technology is thriving, decision making comes from data crunching. Okay, so when we are about to take a decision on something, we look into the historical past, like what happened, how things were moving, what was the outcome, and can we get some insights out of that, and build a strategy on it. So data crunching is very important, right? So depending upon the past, we define the future. So there are many tools for this, right? Every individual should understand, right, how to crunch the data and take decisions out of it. This is one of the very important task or tool that every student who is graduating out of the college should understand. So 20 years back, how Excel was, these tools are in the same stage. Now we are all profound and proficient with Excel, or at least we know the hang of it, right? But then these tools like Tableau, Power BI, whatever it is, like these tools should be adopted. We need to learn these tools so that it will be helpful for us in the future. That's number one, data crunching tools. Number two is data crunching tools with respect to decision making, and number two is relating with respect to personal branding, right? So every individual has a unique character and he needs to build up a brand, right? So see, everyone are contributing to the society and to their work, right? Everyone, you, me, man, everyone are contributing, but we need to value add to the society when whenever we are capable of. For example, LinkedIn is a platform, right? We are all there in LinkedIn, but how often we give suggestions or we help people who are in our own playground. We help them to teach them the strategies that work for us, right? So that's called brand building. It's a personal brand building. So when the individuals are taught all these things in college or in university, they'll be able to build their own brand and they'll be helpful to their peers as well, right? So brand building is the second most important thing. And third thing is uh, the cultural knowledge, right? So after coming to Dubai, I understood that, it's a different world altogether, right? So, in India, you don't see all this thing. Here, people from various parts of the world come and we all live together in sync, right? So when a student is studying in a university, he should know how the other part of the globe functions. That's more important, right? So that's why exchange programs and everything comes into picture. So he should understand, okay, so if we are, drawing a circle in one way, how does the other guy, in another part of the world draws the circle? Is he does he have a different methodology, or is he doing it in the same methodology? So all these things are very important. So the cultural understanding is very important so that his view becomes enlarged, right? So these are my points, my views.
I mean, I absolutely agree with you, Srinivasan. I mean, these are very basic, but the most key factors in shaping future professionals, which we kind of, keep on ignoring from time and again. We don't take these into consideration. So these are very crucial factors, I would say, that are playing a crucial role in shaping the future of professionals. So, as we discuss growth and adaptation here, and Ms. Abhilasha, could you provide examples of how AUE has adapted to the evolving education landscape in UAE, and what measurable impacts have resulted from this student-first approach?
Okay, so we have, I can say, continuously adapted to the evolving nature of UAE landscape. What we do basically, it's like updating the curricula to meet industry demands, adopting new technology, enhancing the student services. And these efforts have resulted in measurable improvements, I should say. A couple of them I mentioned, like high satisfaction rate. So Now, what we do, every program is having advisory board. We call it IAB, Industry Advisory Board. It is a mandatory process. So they have to bring one or two alumni, depending on how many students are enrolled in the program and how big is the advisory board for that particular program. So there are 22 programs. Each program will have industry advisory board. There will be academicians from other university. There will be people from industry, I should say, they bring the subject expertise as well, but they bring from a different perspective, what is happening in the industry. And then there are alumni members definitely, and there is a student as well. So we bring all of them together, right? And then beginning of the year, as I said, we decide on this on the threshold. What should be the retention, student retention? What should be the persistent rate? Persistent is that a student took a course or registered 5 courses in fall semester. Is he going to continue in spring or not? So his experience, let us say, was not good in fall. He will probably try to find or shop around other institutions, and he will not register in spring semester, right? So which means that the persistent rate will be low. So it is satisfaction rate, it is persistent rate, it is graduation rate, it is retention rate. So we do have, a couple of outcomes, and of course, employability. Apart from this, the Ministry of Education also runs graduate destination survey. So they call it Graduate Destination Survey, GDS. It is every year because they want to see where your alumni are, whether the alumni are progressing or not. So what the question which you asked, Rini, actually about lifelong learning. So one of our approaches also to ensure, so we have a center called Center for Continued Education, which is known as RIADA. So what RIADA offers is, it sometimes brings alumni to reskill them, to upskill them, to offer some kind of micro credentials, and if they are taking a number of micro credentials, when they enroll in the program, in a degree program, some of the courses, can be waived off because they have already done a couple of micro credentials. So, our commitment to this student first approach has been instrumental in these successes. So yes, there has been a great success. Our retention rate is around 82 this academic year. Our graduation rate is on an average 60 to 65%, which needs to be improved, of course. But yes, again, as I said, student-centric approach is helping us. So we decide on the threshold of success criteria, and then we assess the progress, and we report in our annual operational report, stipulating clearly what went well, what did not go well, and why, and what strategy we should deploy in the next academic year.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That's truly impressive, I'd say. So, Srinivasan, in your experience in the UE landscape, how do you see institutions aligning the student-centric approaches with broader industry trends?
Great. So yeah, so I was just it was just resonating. I was just resonating what ma'am said right now. It was really enjoyable to hear that ma'am was talking numbers. It's 82% retention rate and 65% graduation rate. And ma'am, that Rihada, right? This is the first time I'm hearing about it, right? So the student who's already passed out, alumni, can also come back, and you provide microcredits for them to learn some courses. That was really fascinating. So this is about it. This is about the student-centric approach. And and second thing is, there's something called PBL, right? Problem-based learning, right? And in the KHDA, have started this methodology in schools only, not even in universities. So they give a real time or real life situation, ongoing situation to the students, the kids, and then they see how they employ the solution. Are they employing the solution what they have learned, and how beautifully they're coming out with the outcomes? All those things they monitor from the school level only. So this is one thing. And second thing is, as ma'am pointed out, the retention comes based upon what are all the inputs that we provide. Okay, so for example, the Rihada program, or say the providing students the right courses at the right time and foreseeing whether he will be switching or not. So all these things are, it's a kind of experience the student undergoes, and then he resonates in the outside world, and then it comes back to us, right? It's a circle basically. So if these things are tightly followed, then definitely that's student centric approach according to me. So it starts from the inquiry, so when the student registers, right, the portal should be student friendly. So when I say student friendly, student has a course in mind, he comes to our website, he just types, say, business administration, should get all information related to business administration on that particular page. And there, if he has some doubts, he can just click on the call icon on the website. If he just clicks on the call icon, and within few moments, the counselor should, you should be calling the student up and should be engaging with them. So it starts from there, and as ma'am said, it goes on till he comes out, and after he passed out also, it's getting continued, right? So that's about it.
It's the process from enrollment to graduation.
Exactly.
Right.
And you have to close the quality loop.
Right. Absolutely agreed. Finally, Ms. Abhilasha, as someone who has been instrumental in shaping AUE's approach, so what advice would you give to the audiences and other educational institutions looking to adopt a similar student-first philosophy? How does AUE's approach set it apart from others in the region?
In two words, I can say quality matters, but let me explain this. So for any institution looking to adopt a student-centric approach or a student-first approach, my advice will be to start by listening to your students. Their feedback is invaluable in shaping the policies and practices that truly meet their needs. And this requires proper survey tool, proper, having focus group with students, having focus group, analysis with a graduating, different cohorts. So for more students, freshmen, so you need to probably have a right tool to understand what they need. AUE's approach sets us completely apart because of our commitment to, I can say, personalized education, continuous faculty development, committed to offer very holistic kind of student experience that extends beyond academics. So it's not only, so as faculty advisor, my role is, yes, the student comes, I will tell him these are the 4 courses, please go and register. Or I will register the 4 courses or 5 courses for him and thank you very much. But it doesn't end there. This is not a student-centric approach. This is not a proper advising process. We need to foster a very supportive and innovative learning environment. And I'll give you one example. Today, a student came to me and the student was from another institution, a very good institution. And I asked, like, why you went there and then you are coming back to us? So he said that, no, because I feel valued here. So in one word, it is basically, yes, the students are feeling there is something called, that students identify themselves with the institution. It is organizational identity, OI. So they are more engaged. So by fostering a very supportive and innovative learning environment, we just ensure that our students are not just academically successful, but they are also well prepared for the challenges of the future. And this is what I will probably advise to everyone, that listen to your students. They will not learn anything if you are not listening to them.
Right. So thank you both for sharing such valuable insights. It's been an enriching discussion, and it's clear that both AUE and the broader higher education landscape in the UAE are making significant strides towards a most student-centric future. Ms. Abhilasha's reflections on AUE's unique approach and the integration of cutting-edge technologies and highlights a commitment to enhancing student experiences and outcomes. Meanwhile, Srinivasan's perspective on the impact of these innovations and evolving landscape offer a valuable lens into how educational institutions can adapt and thrive by leveraging cutting-edge technologies. So these shared insights underscore the importance of aligning educational strategies with students' needs and industry trends to foster an environment of continuous growth and success. Thank you both for your valuable contributions and for shedding light on the exciting developments in higher education. But before we wrap up, I would like to ask our audiences if you have any questions. You have a window of 2 minutes. You can write your questions in the Q&A and our expert speakers will answer them. So, and as our conversation draws to a close, I once again appreciate the valuable insights shared by our expert speakers. While the discussion has been insightful and engaging, I understand the importance of respecting their time. So, let's conclude our webinar here, reflecting on the enriching prospects exchanged. But before that, I would like to ask our speakers to share their final thoughts or advice for education leaders looking to, create student-centric environment in this evolving higher education landscape of UAE. Over to you, ma'am.
Listen to your students. I don't want to say that students are customer, but if faculty members are the driver of any institution, students are the heart of the institution. So it's very important to listen to them, seek their feedback, integrate the feedback in your continuous improvement model.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Srinivasan, over to you.
Yeah, as ma'am said, the feedback closure is very important, right? That's number one. It starts from the student and ends with the student, and then it goes on. And as I said, the cutting edge tools needs to be implemented, imparted. So that's very important because student is listening from everywhere, right? So right tools at the right time is very, using the right tools at the right time is very important. That gives the right message to the student. And as ma'am rightly pointed out, the student has come to their college because he feels that his thoughts are valued, right? So that's very important. So when you search for something, you should get the right answer. For that, communication is the key, right? So cutting edge tools, communication tools are important. We got to be digitally focused. The university's got to be digitally focused. If they are focused, then we are moving northwards. Yeah,
Thank you
thanks.
so much, Srinivasan. So I see there was a question related to the video webinar recording. So yes, you can find it on our Illuminate by Meritto /Illuminates page. So we'll be uploading the recording there. So anybody can have an access to the video of this webinar anytime. And thanks again to our speakers for their valuable insights and to our audiences for joining us today. Your engagement is what makes Illuminate by Meritto a valuable experience. We look forward to seeing you in our next webinar. Until then, thank you and continue to drive excellence in education. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.